And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is Tyler McDowell-Blanken, my tag team partner. That was weird, man. I was up all night last night. I think I got 3 hours of sleep watching us, reeling from Bray Wyatt, doing stuff for the podcast. Didn't come out of the chutes very strong here, Tyler, but I'm so happy to see you. How are you today?
I'm so happy to see you as well, man. You already popped me, and we're 30 seconds in. I am so excited, number one, for you to be on fall break.
Yes.
Well deserved. I'm excited.
I'm gonna blame
for us.
that. I'm gonna blame it on fall break.
There you go. I'm excited for us at GI for the month we have ahead. Obviously, we mentioned this last week. This month marks 1 year of Gimmick Infringement. We have some exciting plans in the works. So I'm just doing great. Bray Wyatt is back, which I know we'll get into shortly. I am doing so well. And of course, happy to see you too. How are you?
Good. I'm glad our predictions from like August came true of like, what is it, last year?
We've been calling it in different promotions. We've
Yes.
we've known it was on the horizon.
Yeah, I think we were predicting Bray Wyatt's return before we started the podcast. So yeah, and
True.
and Tyler, as of I know we're going to release this Monday morning, but I believe October 11th was our first podcast. So we were almost 1 year to GI. So for those of you that are listening right now, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for tuning in. There will be something put together for you all on the gimmickinfringementpod.com website. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I started
Tyler,
writing my piece for that, and
I was just going to ask you, Div, you started writing.
I know we don't. Yeah, I know we don't want to reveal
Yeah.
too much yet, but I'm about a paragraph and a half in, and I'm excited to share my thoughts on 1 year, but I'm also very eager to hear what you think. And I know you approached me with this idea again, literally 12 months ago, and to see what it's become now just makes me feel incredibly grateful and just eager to see what the future holds. So yeah, gimmickinfringementpod.com soon enough. Of course, we'll plug it on the social media channels. I'm stoked for it.
So am I. I'm also stoked to talk about Extreme Rules and less so to talk about Battle of the Belts. But Tyler, let's get into it. Hit me with your first WWE question. I have a feeling I know the topic.
You do, and I guarantee you are right. Brad, the conversation has to start with the reveal, the return of Bray Wyatt. He is back. This closed the show. So, of course, we can get into the match winners and how our predictions shaped out. Great call by you, by the way, on choosing Bianca Belair. I was stunned and also very pleased that she walked out with gold. But Bray Wyatt, man, closed the show. I love that Triple H and company gave us the fake out of the all rights reserved 2022 copyright.
I got mad, man. I got mad.
No, I knew it. I actually did not get mad.
I got mad, and then I was like,
"There's no way."
I got mad, and then I went, "This is NXT Triple H. This is what he does."
Yes, we knew
this
it
is
was
absolutely a takeover move.
Yeah.
It's happening. Yeah,
I did not. Honestly, this time it didn't even cross my mind that was going to be it. I knew, okay, they're totally pump faking us. They have to deliver.
Yeah.
So anyway, man, it happened. Bray is back. I want to know, I put this in my phone actually. I want to know, I want to hear your overall excitement and how loud the pop was from Marana, Arizona. And secondly, what was your favorite aspect of the reveal? Because it was very multifaceted and obviously very artistic. So favorite aspect of the reveal, how stoked are you? Give me your thoughts on the technical production, given your theater background. I want to hear everything.
Okay, my first thought, something that we talked about off air here late last night. I thought the production wise, I thought it was incredible. The lights out gimmick works so well when it's the appropriate person. The entire House of Black, when when the lights go out and it's their entrance, it's great. I really like what they do with that. Um, Bray has always had a lights out gimmick. Other people have had it, but it's never really quite been the same thing. Like the Brood had it, but it wasn't lights out, it was lights dimmed and then into the red. And we've had a bunch of variations of that, but the lights out reveal was really cool. It reminded me of Cody, because this is the second time it didn't start with music or a visual. It's the second time somebody has debuted or returned in the last year with vocals, their voice. In this case, it was Bray Wyatt singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands in a minor key, which I thought was really cool. That's why it sounded creepy, folks. And I thought that was really cool. But to go from in the audience with custom made costumes of the Bray Wyatt characters from the Firefly Funhouse in reality, which is either we're letting you know that these things are real, or we're letting you know that these things are now out because the Firefly Funhouse has been busted wide open. And maybe that's why the door opened with the light. Maybe it's the freeing of whatever was in there. Maybe it wasn't the Fiend. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it's this thing that's saying, who killed the world? You did. Because it's really hard to tell right now what it is, because I thought he was just going to leave the mask on and then he took the mask off. So I'm not sure where that's going, but to have that door set up that looked very swampy to me. It had like the ghillie suit stuff on the outside, and then it had the door. And then we go through the Firefly Funhouse where things aren't really working quite the way they should be. Everything's covered in cobwebs because it hasn't been used in so long. I loved all of that, Tyler, because it all made sense. My God, the pop. So I was telling you about the light behind there was two lights. So there's one with a filter and one without, one without a different light filter. The yellow light turned into the blue light, and either they had a color changing LED back there or something, or two lights. But the bright light through the fog is such a simple effect. And I saw somebody tweeted that's just like Brody. His entrance, his reveal was the white door with the blue light. There was also a Brody's mask was on the Sister Abigail person out there as an homage to Brody when he was in the Wyatt family, which I thought was really, really cool. Luke Harper. I thought there were so many little things in this 5-minute span of time that were all references and callbacks to old gimmicks, and then to see something new, I'm stoked. I have no idea what's going to happen. We were in the group chat and it was like, do we see him do a run in? Is it a beatdown? I said, like, I don't think it can be. I think it's going to be an end of the show. He's just there. And either he's going to beat down somebody at the end of the show, or he's just going to show up. But it had to be the end of the show. You make people wait. Triple H made us all wait, man. And we were all rewarded. I'm stoked. I love his creativity. I love his mind. So I'm so pumped to see what he does. Lots of people are critical of his in-ring work. Bro, who cares? Undertaker had really good in-ring work, but he also did 4 things. So big boots, old school, choke slam, tombstone. After that, like, what's his big move? Sitting up. Like there's not a lot there. And I get it. Like, it's not fair to him to say that, but WWE sometimes does that with their super big superstars, where they do the John Cena, the 5 moves of doom. I feel like that a lot. And Bray sometimes does that. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Like, that dude is a genius. And if you're here for storytelling, he's your guy. So I am. WWE does storytelling usually really, really, really well. And it's the thing I feel like is sometimes missing in AEW, where they do the wrestling really, really, really well. So I don't need great wrestling in both places. I need great storytelling and great wrestling. Give it to me, feed it to me. Bray Wyatt's going to give us great storytelling. That was my soliloquy here, Tyler. I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, Brad, I was totally cool if you were going to go another 5 to 10 minutes, man. Honestly, I love hearing. I know how big this moment was for the fan base, but I am literally speaking with the biggest Bray Wyatt fan I know. So I second everything you said, man. I know that may not make for the most interesting open for our episode, but how could you not love this? It was so creepy, like you said, with the
Yeah.
Firefly characters, back to life. I really loved when we had the reveal of the Fiend character amongst the
Thank you.
fans.
Did you hear the crowd?
Like, because that, I mean, obviously we knew it was Bray, but something felt different when that Fiend character, although not Bray, whoever was portraying that character and was
Yeah.
dressed up as the Fiend, it seemed like that really, the decibel levels for the pop went up a notch when the Fiend character was ringside. It just kind of solidified, okay, this is Bray, no doubt, here we are. And what you said about the technical production, I really, it looks so great, man. And
Yeah,
it's,
it looked amazing.
yeah, if we were gonna get a Bray reveal, like you said, this is not one where the lights go out and then Bray is just behind Matt Riddle and then hits him with a Uranagi and then a mandible claw or whatnot. This character, this dude is so creative and such an artist
Mhm.
that I'm so happy we had a reveal that was just so befitting of his mind. This ruled, man. Like you texted me. It was theater, it was art, and I just cannot forget about the pop when he took off the
Yeah.
mask.
Oh my gosh.
I really believed, Brad, that he had to be in the building and we had to see him unmasked. So I'm
I
so
agree.
happy. It had to happen. I'm so glad they delivered on it. Brad, the pop, I felt so happy for Wyndham Rotunda, the man. It must be, I mean, could you imagine being gone and maybe worrying about, do they remember me? How are they going to feel when I come back as another new iteration of Bray Wyatt? He takes off the mask and one of the biggest pops of the year. I mean, what's even comparable or comparable to that pop? Cody Rhodes debuting at WrestleMania,
No.
Stone Cold at
This was bigger.
Mania,
This was bigger than all
Sasha
of
and,
those
and
things.
Naomi, I'm sure when they come back, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it was huge. Tell me your thoughts on that moment of the mask being taken off and then that instant crowd reaction. I'm here, done.
Well, I don't know if his face was the biggest pop. I think it was the lantern.
The
So
lantern,
we
yes,
see the lantern peek around the corner.
good
Uh,
call.
the
Yep.
people that were on, I guess it would be stage left, whatever side of the arena that was.
Mhm.
Uh, People that were on that side of the arena saw the lantern coming from the side, and you could hear them like pop huge. And then the lantern came all the way out, and it got a little bigger. But then when he stepped forward, the rest of the audience could see, and the roof went off. And then he held it up to his face and you could see the mask, and it kind of died down a little bit. I think people were expecting Fiend and they didn't get it. They got something else. So when Bray revealed his face, it was like, holy shit, what is this? Totally different, because he had like the cult leader vibe, holding a regular lantern. He did the and the light guy blew it out too early, idiot. And I'm mad, man. Like,
I know. Yeah, it was.
you got that one job, and that it's the
Yeah,
biggest spot of the night. It's the
yeah,
last thing we see before it goes off air, and you blew it
yeah,
out early. It
yeah.
looked like he swallowed fire. So, whatever. Yeah, Eater of Worlds, I guess. Um, I couldn't get it out of my head. I must have watched it 15 times this morning.
Oh, I'm sure. And then
It's
it
just so
closed.
good.
It closes with the logo, which is a
Yep,
new twist for Bray
and
Wyatt.
the
That
sound,
logo and
that weird tweaky sound.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's kind of shades and callbacks to older Bray with some
Yeah,
new elements that, like you, I'm so intrigued to see. You and I off air last night we're kind of going back and forth in terms of, okay, well, what next? Not
yeah,
just from a what is this, who is this character, but
yeah.
from a what is his first feud perspective. And truthfully, Brad, I don't know that you or I came up with not even a great answer, but just an answer, period. We threw out names to each other, a lot of names he's already feuded with, such as Seth Rollins, The Miz. We could just go down the list. I have no idea who his first match is going to be against, and I don't think that's a bad thing because I'm going to be tuning in.
I'm currently looking up like baby faces and heels and people that are in the middle.
Yeah. Well, and then Brad, that's the question: is this new Bray a babyface or a heel? After that reaction, I'm
Mm,
leaning toward babyface unless he's a tweener.
he has to be a baby face, a
He
tweener or
has
a baby
to,
face. If
right?
he is, Austin Theory makes a lot of sense.
Austin Theory will
Him
always make sense. Yes.
him going after all of Judgment Day makes sense by himself. That would be fine with me.
Oh, we didn't talk about
Um,
that. Yeah.
no, that makes sense. I just don't want him going after Finn in particular because we've already seen that.
Right. Although
Ciampa,
we do need to get a Demon versus Fiend match
yeah,
at some point, no?
yeah, yeah. It has to be Demon Finn though.
Demon, yeah, exactly.
Um, I'm just looking at maybe Escobar. That seems too recent. That's too
Legado.
new, and that wouldn't
Yeah,
make
and I
sense to
I
me.
want I want Legado to dominate. I don't want them to lose
Yeah,
for a while.
right. Um, Cross probably isn't there, and it doesn't feel like he's done with Drew.
Yeah, I don't think Cross can afford a loss after that big win.
Maybe they call up Grayson Waller. I don't know.
Yeah, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, pretty much the same person to me.
Like, because everybody that I'm thinking of right now are in tag teams or in
Yeah,
stables, and Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt. So I don't know
yeah.
who it would be. And maybe we're thinking about this wrong. Maybe he goes after the ladies. Maybe he goes full heel and starts going after Alexa or starts going after for ruining him
I
and
think that
killing
would
the
be a
Fiend.
mistake.
Or I think it would be a terrible idea. But if he's not wrestling them and he's just doing psychological stuff,
Mhm,
it could be good or it could be problematic.
mhm.
I don't know who. I don't know what they do, but it's WWE, so they'll probably. I don't know. It's Triple H's WWE, so maybe
It's
they do some
different.
mixed tag stuff again. I don't know.
Yeah. One
We'll
and
see.
final question for you. And my question one, you're pretty down on him leading a stable, right? You don't want to see Wyatt Family 2.0 or
No.
A
Well, I
Wyatt
mean,
6.
I'm fine with it. Who? Who you putting in the stable right now? Like if I put you on the spot with that question, who's
Yeah.
joining his stable? Rey
I f-
Mysterio?
no, no,
Like
thank you.
Edge? That's
Braun Strowman is right there, reuniting the two.
no,
I
it's
mean,
terrible. Like this,
what is Braun doing? Just squashing dudes and
yeah, he's
not
just
going
running
after
out and hitting
titles?
people, but that's all he's ever really been. He's just raw,
Yeah,
and now he's just chiseled raw. At least they got rid of the train sound.
yeah,
Didn't
that
prevent
was
him from tripping, but
long
like,
overdue.
I don't think so. And here's I'm popping myself for this. Here's why. I think Bray Wyatt is going to have creative control, and Braun doesn't fit into that picture because he wants to control his narrative. Thank you. I'm done.
I see.
Thank you.
I see what you did there. I have no
Yes.
response.
Good. Let's get to my question here. Absolute dad joke city. Let's see. Okay. I want you to think about the entire event. Extreme Rules, the entire event. Um, that card was loaded. That card made sense. All the matches made sense. All the feuds made sense. There were stipulations. Is that a good pay-per-view at all if you remove Bray Wyatt? Where would you rank this pay-per-view in the year without Bray Wyatt on it?
Yeah, totally mid, I guess I would say, if I can borrow MJF's word. Man, well, at the top of my list has to be WrestleMania, particularly night one,
Yeah,
and Clash at the Castle. I really enjoyed
such a
Clash at
great show.
even if I disagreed with the finish of that show, the finish was
Yeah.
pretty whack. I thought that show was special and one we're going to be
Mhm.
talking about even
Yeah.
into some point next year and probably in the years to come. Yeah, Extreme Rules. I mean, Rumble is its own thing. SummerSlam. It was
SummerSlam was
okay.
okay.
It
Yeah.
was it was okay for me, Brad. In terms of the card, the opener ruled
Oh,
as we know it
so
would.
good.
Yeah,
So
so
good.
good. I hope they're not
Yeah.
fighting again at Survivor Series. I probably don't need that. But yeah, I love that ongoing rivalry. Liv versus Ronda didn't hit for me. Ronda won, which we expected, but I just don't know that they have great chemistry.
Mm.
I'm a Liv fan. I see the value in Ronda as a performer and as an entity, but that match didn't do it for me. Cross versus Drew. Cross won. I don't like the pepper spray finish.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
glad Scarlett's there, but didn't need it. Man, what else do we have? Bianca won, which that match
That
ruled.
match was great. Yeah.
Finn versus Edge, the storyline hasn't been for me, but I thought they delivered in the ring. And I don't, Brad, I told you this. I don't know why I didn't expect Finn to win as a result of Beth being injured and then
Yeah.
Edge doing the heroic thing of saying, I quit to protect his wife, even though his wife got wrecked by the Rhea
Yeah.
Concerto.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just okay. Some of the card really hit for me, some of it didn't. So I would put it as a really, I'm not going to remember this show in a few months other than Bray returning. So like you said, the matches all made sense. I'm not mad at the matchups that we got, but half the card worked for me, half of it didn't.
Yeah.
Bray is obviously, as we knew, the talking point leaving the show. And like you said, them closing the show with Bray leaves everyone happy. We forget
Yeah.
about what we watched, good, bad, or indifferent, because we're all, at least you and I, are just super euphoric for this dude to be back. So it was totally mid, very forgettable show. Some
Yeah.
highs, some lows, but definitely not a standout for me this year at all. It wasn't the worst show, but it's not sniffing my top four or top five by any means. How about you?
Yeah, me either. I really loved the opener. I loved Bianca and Bailey. I think I was higher on it than
Yeah.
a lot of people were. That was
First
the first
women's,
women's
I
ladder
couldn't
match. Yes.
believe that. Maybe I got to put
Yeah.
a little higher on my card just for that. Because that's I'm shocked that's the case.
We've had other matches with ladders and women, but not a ladder match for a title. I
Yeah.
thought that whole thing was great. I thought Bianca showing out her strength over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
I got to put this
Some of that
pay-per-view a
was
little higher. Yeah.
that
So
was
good, right?
the KOD onto the ladder that Bailey was holding while getting KOD. Jesus. So there's parts of that I just the crowd was dead until that match came on. It was super alive. Ronda and Liv, that match killed the crowd. It took the crowd right out of it. So Cross and Drew had no chance after that because the crowd was already dead. Because the match was bad. And I'm not blaming Liv on this. Um, I'll leave it there. But also they got to make it look like they're hitting each other as hard as they can, and not a quarter a quarter swing chair shot. So what I was saying earlier was when we were talking off air, all the stuff that I listened to, Busted Open did a master's class about working a punch and working a hit. You just throw a punch and figure out how to work it before it lands. You make it look real because doing the thing from over the top onto the top of the head, that's not a real punch. You would never throw a punch like that. So figure out how to throw a punch and then work it. And I thought the same thing when they were doing the chair shots. And then people were retweeting the Hogan tweet. I think I sent it to you.
You did.
From TNA where you like love tapped somebody with the chair. And it's kind of how I felt on it.
Mhm.
They tee off on each other with things when it's like, ooh, that's going to be really, really painful, and then hold back. And I know they're in there, they're doing a show and they're trying not to hurt each other, but it took me away from it a little bit where I'm like, this is Extreme Rules. And I feel like you're not making it look like you're hurting each other. It looks like you're protecting each other, which is good. And what you're
For sure.
supposed to do.
For sure.
Absolutely the priority. But you also have to sell it to us as though you don't care about this person and you want them to hurt. So I struggled with that. There was that step up knee from Ronda and that step up enziguri from Liv were incredible. That backstabber she tried to give Ronda, where Ronda seemed to not know what the hell was going on, and then she did it again to make sure it stuck. Man, just kind of rough. And I hate that Liv lost. Liv's run sucked, and it was because she was feuding with Ronda the whole time for the most part. I'm fine with Ronda being full blown heel, maybe feuding with Shayna in the future. I would love that. But yeah, it kind of took me out of it. But that women's ladder match, the fight pit was really entertaining.
Yeah,
Edge and
I didn't
Finn,
even mention that. And that was the main event.
it was
You
really
enjoyed
good. I
it.
mean, Cormier was there. It was good. It was Edge and Riddle again. Or I mean, Riddle and Rollins again.
Yeah, we've seen
I
it.
just
We
called
saw it.
I
We
just
saw
called
it.
Beth Edge, and that's been the thing.
We saw it live in
Uh,
Tucson. We've seen it on TV, on pay-per-view. It's
yeah,
they've this needs to be the last match between them.
even though I think those two had outstanding chemistry,
Oh, no doubt.
um,
No doubt.
and they put on it was a great match. It just I wasn't that into it, and it felt like another one of those foregone conclusion things.
Mhm.
Um,
You did appreciate the Rollins RVD inspired gear though.
it was amazing.
And
Yeah,
and the ponytail. That popped me.
I really like that that Riddle's still hitting RKO's on people.
Yeah.
I liked all of that, and what I really liked was the opening of the match. Actually, because Rollins was trying to get in there and Riddle was just like kicking his legs
Hmm.
and dipping out of the way at certain points.
Hmm.
And what I liked about it was, I think he was. I want to know. I want to know behind the scenes. I felt like Triple H going like, "Yeah, just screw with him. Like you're in a real fight." Just Rollins tried to get to him, and Riddle was just messing with him, like because he's a killer. Like the dude
Right.
is trained. He's a fighter. He's a good fighter, and he was absolutely just messing with Seth. Went for that leg. Did you see how fast Riddle moved out of
Yeah.
the way? Ronda has done stuff like that too, just absolute freakish quickness. Where I'm like, anybody that wanted to wrestle them for real would just be dead immediately. I wouldn't believe a single person on the roster could beat either of those people, except maybe Shayna and definitely Brock. But like, good lord. So I appreciated all of that, but it was fine. Um, I thought Edge and Finn was boring as hell until the very well 3/4 of the way through when everybody started running in. It it was like one of those movies that's fueled by cameos. Like
Mm.
it's not a good movie, but there's all these people popping up that pop you, and I felt like that's what
Yeah.
this relied on. It wasn't
Yeah.
great,
Yeah. That's a good
and
analogy.
then Beth showed up, and we forgot we didn't care anymore because Beth was there.
Yeah. The face off between
Um,
her and Rhea, a top
yeah,
moment for me from the night.
Ray came into a huge pop.
Hmm.
Beth came into a huge pop. Beth ultimately cost the match. I don't know why AJ wasn't there to help. Um, so I had a lot of feelings there. I felt like that could have been the Drew McIntyre Randy Orton ambulance match where they finally put him down when all those people that Randy punted in the Thunderdome all had a hand in that
Yeah.
match. Remember that?
Yeah. What was it? Mark Henry, Big Show?
Mark Henry, Big Show, Ric Flair, Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're really skilled with the callbacks today, my dude. That's
Yeah, I don't
yes,
know
I
where that
remember
came from,
that.
but yeah, yeah,
That I've not thought
yeah.
about that in a minute.
Me either. Yeah.
Great
But I
call.
thought that's one that could have been like you could have done that with all the people that the Judgment Day have taken out and then just end the Judgment Day.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm really happy though, even though I predicted Edge winning, because like you, I thought maybe this would be it for the Judgment Day. Man, I just have hope that they're going to do something with this group. You and I are big fans of at least
all
three
of
of the
them.
ingredients here: Rhea,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Finn,
Mm,
and
yeah, not all of
and
them. No.
and Damien. I get, we don't want to be malicious toward Dominic, but obviously we know he has a lot of room to grow. But those other three are just box office. So I'm really glad Judgment Day won. I just hope that this leads to something greater for them, even if I'm not in love with the concept of the group.
I just don't like the
House of
laughter.
Purple.
All
No,
the
it just
laughing.
but
Like
the ingredient
that. Like just stop.
Finn,
It's like a
Seth,
cartoon villain
Sasha.
from the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, yeah.
God
A
almighty.
lot of them do that. Man, I believe so much in the ingredients that I hope they can turn this
Yeah.
around. I just think they really needed to win, and so I'm glad my prediction was wrong and Finn got the dub because on this show I predicted Judgment Day winning. I think the past two pay-per-views,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I've been totally wrong.
yeah,
So I was hurt by
yeah,
that, and that influenced my Edge pick. I hope this
yeah.
leads to something greater. But Brad, if I can just close my thought on this match with this, to me it would seem that Edge and Beth. Do you think the takeaway here is that we're getting Edge and Beth versus Rhea and Finn, or just Beth versus Rhea? Because if it's Beth versus Rhea, I think Rhea wins. If it's Edge and Beth versus Finn and Rhea, I'm kind of leaning toward the Hall of Famers win that matchup, and Judgment
I
Day
don't
gets
think
buried again.
I don't think we're getting either of those things.
Really?
No. No, I think they're gonna move on.
Oh, you think this is it?
I think Edge
Wow,
is
I
going
didn't
on
consider
another
that.
little 2 to 4 week vacation,
Okay.
and then he'll come back to You Think You Know Me, running in to save people again against the Judgment Day. It'll be the eighth sprint up the ramp for Edge. Um, I'm sick of it, man. Like they've been doing this feud for months. Nothing's changed. There's no new wrinkles. It's they tried to do it. I don't know why Ray doesn't just beat the piss out of Dominic. I'm waiting for that.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
Like it has to at some point, or Ray's going to retire and Dominic will have one, and Dominic looks strong that way. And I don't know. I just it hasn't been good. It's not for me. I like all the people. I don't like Damian Priest laughing. His maniacal laughter and Finn's maniacal laughter just does nothing for me. Smiling Rhea is super unsettling. Like that. Because remember when she came up to the main roster, she looked really weird because they kept telling her to smile more. You need to smile more. You need to smile more. You need to, now she's doing it. It's like, ugh. So,
yeah, as a heel.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. And I like the stuff she's doing with Dominic. I think that's good. The stuff Finn's doing isn't good. The stuff that I don't know what Damien's doing. He's just there. So I hate that I guess they've turned Damian Priest into Midian.
You're not wrong.
He's just there. He beats people up every once in a while. He's also part of the Ministry of... Yeah, he's in the Ministry of Purple.
Right.
He's just there. He's like an enforcer. Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing.
Ministry of Purple is a far superior name to House of Purple. Thank you for that. That is going to be what I refer to them as
right.
moving forward. But Brad, at least the show closed with Bray. We can agree that that moment left us feeling as if we were in paradise. I think we need to extend this stay at paradise, and let's go to A Rose from Paradise featuring me.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
I'm proud of that one. So, thank you. So, Brad,
I spooled up, man. I had one it was in the chamber, ready to go, and I'm glad you got it.
It's just who beats each other to it first. Yeah, man, I have some quick notes here. So, Bachelor in Paradise, this is a new venture for me, as I shared last week. I'm all about the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchises, but somehow now I am a loyal Bachelor in Paradise viewer. So this past week, Brad, lots of storylines. I'm going to try to summarize it here. There are perpetual love triangles on this show. And it started out where this dude, Romeo, was kind of playing with two women, Jill and Kira. But now it's been flipped where we have the genders swapped, where there's a woman at the center of the love triangle and two men battling or not battling, but, trying to become her person. So if love triangles are for you, Brad, you need to check this out. It's a lot. I haven't memorized all the names of these contestants. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm trying. I'm going to tell you, Teddy is someone who I mentioned last week. I think I sent you some info about Teddy. We love Teddy. Her and Andrew had chemistry early on. And I think I told you Bachelor in Paradise is not just about frolicking and soaking up the sun. The goal is that you find your person on this show, which was brand new to me. The goal is that two people could leave engaged, which sounds ridiculous because it is. But my point here is that Teddy and Andrew were matched up. Bachelor Nation was all about this, as was I. However, this past week, Brad, Teddy informed Andrew that she's just not feeling it. She thinks Andrew's a great dude, but it's the classic case of Andrew has stronger feelings about this relationship than Teddy does. I think we've all been there, Brad, where you may really, really like someone, but for whatever reason, those feelings just aren't fully reciprocated. They think you're great, they respect you, but it's just not mutual. So Teddy effectively broke up with him, which was sad for all. And then finally, two former Bachelor in Paradise contestants who met on the show and now are married and have children returned. Again, this is a very odd show. They returned, and for a week or thereabouts, they're going to be basically the purveyors of wisdom. So they're not necessarily amongst the other contestants, but they're in their separate sort of cottage and are available if contestants want to go to them for relationship advice. I know, man. It's a very nuanced show. I'm not sure why I'm watching it. I just love the bit we have here. And I don't even remember their names, man. They're just previous contestants. They're back, and contestants can go to them for advice. So my final point here in this week's edition of A Rose is, Brad, you know how you can nominate contestants for the Bachelor and Bachelorette. We see those ads every single week. I want to let you know now, if there comes a time, if there is an option for me to nominate a respected, a loving couple who can go on Bachelor in Paradise, just any couple, and just be purveyors of wisdom and give advice on how to make a relationship work, how to forge a beautiful life together, I can think of 2 people who I want to nominate. Brad and Jess Winchester. So I'm just putting it out there, Brad. If that opportunity becomes available, I am going to request that they choose you all. You would spend at least a week in Mexico, and you would be able to give advice to these young budding couples. That is my update this week. I'm gonna watch again. I don't know what I'm signing up for, Brad, but I'm gonna try to convince you to watch, even if these efforts will not prove to be successful. I'm watching for me. I'm watching for us. I'm watching for our listeners and viewers, and hopefully we get another entertaining episode this week.
You know, you could have gone with your parents, but I appreciate the shout out there. Yeah.
I was hoping. Okay, we'll put them as my second choice. One
All right,
A,
perfect.
1A, 1B.
Yeah, I just wanted to listen to the rumble of the car go by. Jesus.
I wasn't sure if that was like Nope with the
Yeah, well, it's kind of what it sounded
crap.
like, right?
It sounded a little like Nope.
I got
I'm
soundproofing
glad you're
all over this
sheltered.
room, and then it doesn't matter because like some asshole with his 2-ton compensator drives by.
This is a great preview for our Jordan Peele special.
Yes,
Forthcoming.
What Jordan Peele
What
special?
Jordan? I didn't say anything.
Yeah, save it for what we're looking forward to, Tyler.
Beautiful.
Speaking of, I am looking forward to your next question.
Yeah, man, let's do it. So AEW, believe it or not, there was AEW programming this week. I know we went heavy on WWE, but man, AEW, I first was tempted to ask you your thoughts on the Sammy Andrade seemingly shoot feud. You and I read those reports and heard about the rumors, and both of us thought it was a work. I think you even sent the amazing Rihanna gif, work, and I was fully on board with you. But I don't want to go there. I question why Andrade seemed to have done what he did, but I don't want to talk about it any further. So instead, I'm going to ask you about 2 matches that are set for this week's Dynamite in Toronto. We have Luchasaurus facing Jungle Boy. Pretty big deal. Obviously, a total blood feud happening. And then we also have Bryan Danielson challenging Chris Jericho for the ROH title. Here's my question for you, Brad. Ultimately, I see both babyfaces winning these feuds. I see Jungle Boy dethroning Christian Cage and Luchasaurus in the end. And I see Bryan Danielson ultimately taking the ROH title from Chris Jericho. However, I don't think that for this week, I don't see either of those 2 men winning. I think because it's in Canada, I'm leaning toward Christian and Luchasaurus going over. And Chris Jericho just got the ROH belt. We've heard speculation that perhaps Tony Khan is close to securing a TV or streaming deal for ROH, and Chris Jericho having the belt is maybe the final step towards securing that deal. So my question for you, Brad, is both of these matches, really excited for them, but who are you picking? Because I think Danielson and Jungle Boy win the feuds, but I don't think I'm ready to pick them to win this week. And can Bryan Danielson afford another big loss? What are your thoughts heading into these 2 matches for the week? Who are you picking?
It's a good question, man. Jungle Boy, I guess.
Is he going to get
having a
booed?
hard
Is he
time
going to
here.
get booed in Toronto, or do the fans cheer for Cage and Jungle Boy?
Cage isn't wrestling, Luchasaurus is. So
Right.
I think Christian gets a pop, but Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy will be as usual, you know. That's my guess. I think Jungle Boy loses. I frankly don't care. I'm sick of this feud.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't know
just
that.
over it. They've been doing it for 6 months. I'm good.
Wow.
Like, I know people are like, oh, old school, 8-month feuds. Like, there's been so much waiting. They haven't done anything, Tyler.
And the injury with Cage,
leading
to the squash match at All Out, really affected it.
Yes, it was like finally he's getting his retribution. He gets power bombed onto a stage grate, and that's kind of the end of it.
And
That
Jungle
sucked.
Boy was for sure. I think you and I would agree. Jungle Boy was for
He
sure
was
going to
winning.
win it all out, and
Yeah.
then maybe we just move forward with his ascension.
Yeah, and because let's say Jungle Boy beats Luchasaurus, wins the feud eventually. Maybe he has help from somebody. I can't see him winning without help. He's gonna have to have somebody come out there with him. Maybe Matt Hardy, somebody that hates Christian. Like I don't know who they get. Who did he feud with when he was in TNA? Like I don't Frankie because he signed with TNA again, Impact. Um,
Yeah, and Christian dropped to Josh Alexander ultimately, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just
I wasn't watching as much as I should have.
maybe he asks Bandito to help him. Maybe he asks Andrade. Maybe he pays them. I don't really know. It doesn't make any sense to have him get a heel. Maybe he asks Blackpool Combat Club. Maybe he hires the firm. I don't really know. Um, I can't see him beating Luchasaurus. Not yet. But I don't know what happens if Jungle Boy beats Luchasaurus with Luchasaurus. What do you do when this feud is over with that dude? So that's the thing that I've been thinking about. I'm like, I don't know what you do with Luchasaurus. It's just sort of gone. Um, so I don't care who wins because it's probably going to be some kind of tomfoolery. They're gonna end up having another match later on down the line anyway. So who cares? And then for Jericho and Danielson, this is their third match in the last 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, something like that. I think it's 30. If you don't count Blood and Guts and all the other stuff. Anarchy in the Arena, Blood and Guts, 3 individual matches. There's probably some tag matches in there that I'm forgetting. Um, also, well, I know there is like the Garcia Danielson match. Um, I just feel like they've been wrestling each other for forever, and now he's the champ. Danielson is a Danielson's the one that I think should take the belt from Jericho. I want to see Danielson beat Jericho. I don't think it happens in Canada, but it
Exactly.
might.
Jericho's home country.
It might because Danielson's still coming out of the heel tunnel.
I noticed that this week. Still,
And
that's a
what I
choice.
really yeah, and what I really like about it is that that's the perfect opportunity for Garcia to screw Jericho. So I feel like
Do you think at this point Garcia's for sure not aligned with Jericho anymore?
I don't think he
We
can
won't get
be.
a bigger swerve of Jericho screwing Daniel. I'm sorry, of Garcia screwing Danielson. That's not going to
I
happen.
don't no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Um I think they know what they have with Garcia right now. They have a more charismatic Wheeler Yuta um
Mm,
in terms of like age and experience. He just is. He's better on the mic. He's more believable.
mhm.
Wheeler's getting there.
MJF versus Yuta ruled, by the way.
Oh god, that match
Much
was
like the
so good. Yeah.
women's 6-woman tag match was good. There was a lot of good AEW this week.
There's a lot of really good wrestling.
Yeah.
None of it really mattered, and we'll talk about that later. But
Gotcha.
I or if it did matter, we already knew the outcome going into it. Yeah, I think Danielson. I'm just going to say it. Danielson takes the belt from Jericho. He's a former ROH
Wow.
champ. He's younger.
I'm
He's
calling it.
better in the ring. He's not as well known as Jericho. Obviously, Jericho is on my Mount Rushmore, but um, yeah, I think Danielson's going to take the belt. It makes the most sense. I think.
Wow. Okay. I'm picking Jericho. My vision is whenever the first big ROH show is, perhaps the next
Yeah,
ROH pay-per-view or at the first night of TV or streaming they get, that's when I envision Danielson taking the belt off. But I just man, can Danielson lose again? He's just
yeah.
lost so many big ones, Brad. It's kind of shocking to me.
Maybe we get the rare AEW DQ finish, but
Yeah, they're not really prone to doing that, but maybe this
I
is
I can't see Jericho working ROH talent and elevating them in ROH.
mhm.
He could, but I just don't see that. That's not really the use for Jericho. You want his creative going into AEW, not into ROH, unless he retires, and that would be fine. But um, Danielson's only got a finite amount of time left, and he hasn't held gold in AEW. So,
No, no, and he's a
um,
made man, but man,
right,
I yeah, I'm
I
very
feel
curious to
like
see what they do with him for the next year.
this was a way to get Jericho to hold the ROH title before he retires, to have another belt to add to his legacy.
The Ocho, sell some more teas.
I absolutely feel like that's what this was, where Danielson getting the ROH title is going, this is an ROH wrestler. He came up through ROH. So it makes a ton of sense for Danielson to have that belt. Only because it's Danielson. If Punk comes back, if he ever drops the lawsuit, like, we don't know it's him for sure. It's him for sure. He would make sense too, winning the ROH title. I don't think he should ever touch the AEW title ever again. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna pick Danielson. Leave it at that.
I like it. Bold.
Yeah. Speaking of bold moves happening in the world of 19 media, Tyler, it's time for the state of 19.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 media.
Small Town USA is back. Join Jess and Carmen for their latest adventure, the town where ghosts get stuck in the middle, and prepare yourselves for spooky ghost noises.
Right in time. The Orlando Magic are ready for the new NBA season. On the latest episode of Close Up Magic, superfans Steven and Malik welcomed Luke Hetrick from Spectrum Sports 360 to discuss the latest buzz around the franchise.
Incredible alliteration there by you. Join Mo, good friend of GI and 19 co-founder, for the latest edition of Hidden Gems Golf. Tap in and hear his thoughts on the world's top golfers as they prepare for the Shriners Children's Open.
Jabari Davis, formerly of 19 Media and now a producer for iHeartMedia, is doing incredible work behind the scenes for the show Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast. Support Jabari. He supports us, a great friend of the show once again. You can check him out at Jabari Davis NBA on Twitter.
I love the name of that pod so much. Our guy Desmond Powell dropped a new episode of Hip to the Games. Check it out to hear the 7 things he's most excited to see this NBA season.
Speaking of Des, so many great people here. The fellas at the Baseline NBA podcast welcomed him to the show this past week. Tap in and hear what Warren, Cal, and Desmond are expecting from the Western Conference this season, including my beloved but very tumultuous Phoenix Suns.
Man, you poor man.
Yes, that can be
The
good.
the crew at Late Night Lake Show dropped a new episode last week. Check it out to hear Omar and Kwame discuss the latest news and notes surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. There were a lot of words in this that I could have messed up. Discuss was not the one I had on my list.
You crushed it, man. I will point out the Suns did beat the Lakers in preseason, by the way. So for our LA Laker inclined colleagues, just want to throw that out there in case they missed it. The guys actually discussed that on the episode, of course. But
Detroit basketball. That's all I'll say.
Could
Lots to look forward to there. I think it's going to be a good team.
Sneaky pick for a play-in team this year. Yeah. It could happen. Finally, shout out to Mike Steff, former GI guest and fellow podcaster. Check out his show, The Salty Thoughts of Donnie Ooh, for detailed and, of course, passionate commentary on the latest news in sports, pro wrestling, and New York politics. However, also, Hidden Gems Football with Mo and Mike is now live. You can check out their inaugural episode, available on 19 Media Group's YouTube channel.
Incredible graphics there too, as well. The overlay, the logo itself. I really like what they did with the minimalist. I'm done. I'm just gonna leave.
As a minimalist myself, I can dig it. Yes.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great episode. I actually had a lot of fun watching it. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, great guys.
Those guys are doing really cool stuff. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great supporters of us, which we appreciate.
Tyler, it's time for my second question. It's very much like my first question. This AEW question is related to Battle of the Belts, the way that I talked about Extreme Rules. Do you think that Battle of the Belts was successful and memorable? What is it? Was this 4 or 5? I can't even remember.
Yeah, success. Well, the and is tricky here. So memorable, I would say no. I think Battle of the Belts could really. The name is so awesome. I think the concept, this Saturday night or Friday night, in this case, fight night,
Yeah.
could be really cool. And obviously, we know it's
Yes.
a part of their television contract, and it's supposed to be kind of a special attraction.
Yeah.
Brad, to this point, I wish I would have done more of my research heading into this conversation now. To this point, I don't know that the World Championship has ever been defended on Battle of the Belts. I think the
I
closest
don't
we've
think
gotten
so.
is the women's world title,
Hmm.
but it's been a lot of ROH.
TBS.
We didn't have the TNT. We got the All Atlantic. It's always great to see Pac on our screens, but completely forgettable. Even though, like you said, the in-ring work is often good to amazing,
Yeah, that was a great
forgettable.
match.
Yeah, the outcomes typically seem very predictable. I don't know that we've had a lot of
Yeah.
title switches on these shows.
I can't remember any.
You're probably gonna be a little shocked at this, but I would not have hated, if I have a prop here, if our beloved Jade Cargill. Look, can you believe this
That's a
figure?
great figure, man. That's amazing.
Right? Like she's here. I would not have hated if Willow Nightingale beat her for the TBS
Yeah, me too.
title.
Me
I
too.
think that would have been a real statement and
Yeah.
a reminder of, hey, you have to check out Battle of the Belts when we put it on, because you don't know what could happen. Completely forgettable, so not memorable whatsoever. In terms of being a success, to me, a success is they put on awesome matches, no one got injured, and hopefully some eyeballs were tuning in. Battle of the Belts 4, though, felt like the least hyped special since this launched. I forgot that it was even happening. I think you texted me, Brad, and you said, yo, 2 hour Rampage. I forgot. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I had no idea either. So successful, kind of yes and no. I don't know that they promoted this as heavily as the other ones. And I think a lot of the fan base was like you and I, and just was shocked that it was actually happening. We just didn't know. So I want more from Battle of the Belts. AEW is in a really interesting place, not just from the alleged backstage drama, but I think from the weekly product. You and I have discussed it here ad nauseum. It's a lot of ROH. It's a lot of belts.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Our fandom, we still love AEW, obviously, so much of it, but our fandom is in a really interesting place because there's so much to love, but then also so many decisions that are really questionable right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was uber successful and not memorable. But I also love two black women headlining the show, and Willow and Jade. Like, to me, that's a huge success, and I want more of that. So I have really mixed
Yeah.
feelings about it. How do you feel?
Exactly the way you feel, man. Like I don't really have anything to add there. The only thing I'll say is that I also look at success as, do I want to tune in to see more? Do I want to see Pac and Orange Cassidy again? Yeah. They have great chemistry. Pac has great chemistry with everybody because Pac is great. Trent, incredible. That dude is incredible. I don't know why he's not more over. Maybe it's because his character is just sort of guy. Um, I don't really know how else to describe him, as he's a dude. But yeah, man, I think like you, it was really great to see two black women get that spot. I love Willow so much. Did you hear the reaction from the crowd when she came out? That music hit.
Always. Yeah, she crushed it on Wednesday. So glad she picked up the pin. And then yeah, man, she's over. I really feel like she is going to have a signature moment. To me, she's
Yeah.
even leapfrogged Athena
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I don't know, name the other babyface on the women's side of things. To me, Jamie Hayter and Willow are the two women next poised to have a big signature moment. I don't mean
Yeah.
to get us off course, but Brad, I know you're a big fan. The pops for Jamie Hayter are undeniable at this point.
She's
Babyface.
a mega heel and nobody cares.
The
She's
pop
a
on
baby
Wednesday
face.
was massive.
Tony needs to push her to the moon right now
Yes.
before it starts to cool for us.
Yeah.
D-
I
Or
heard Will Washington give the example of from Fightful that the Page, I'm sorry, Saraya, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter kind of feels like maybe an MJF CM Punk Wardlow situation where MJF and CM Punk, in this case Saraya and Britt, are feuding, but then the real money is going to be in Hater versus Britt maybe coming
That
out of
needs to
that,
happen,
i.e.,
man. It needs
MJF
to
versus
happen.
Wardlow. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, though. I just wanted to add that.
No, it absolutely needs to happen. Like that is the feud that we've been waiting for in the women's division. Everything else is just sort of there. Like Serena Deeb, go out and have a good match with somebody. Cool. You're the professor. We haven't heard you talk in a while, and it's probably not a bad thing. The last time we saw it was her and Thunder Rosa, and it was pretty rough. But we both love Serena Deeb. She was my wrestler of the year. You know, like she's she's incredible. But um, I don't know what you do. Like they let that momentum, the 5 minute challenge stuff, that was working. I don't know why they stopped that. I really liked having her come out and do that. Sheeta showing up again is great. I miss Sheeta. I miss Riho. I don't know why they aren't on our screens more. There's a lot of talent in the women's division that just seems like it's not being used at all. And I don't know. I don't know, man. Willow and Jamie, and you know my love for Jamie, are the next things there. I think Marina Shafir could be if they change her presentation a little bit and
I
not
think
have
you're
her do
higher on.
silly stuff.
Yeah, I think you're higher on her than me. I want to believe in it, but I'm not there yet.
I think having her come out and just hoss people is all you need to do. You don't need to do anything fancy with her, but having her lose has been dumb. Like she should be beating everybody. Have her go on a tear and be the first credible threat to Jade. Um, but we've already done it. It's already ruined. So it's
And Chris
yeah, I don't know.
Statlander is just, I mean, poised for a huge return whenever she's
Yeah,
healthy.
that's going to
You
be
and I were
mega
picking
pop, man.
Chris to beat
Yeah,
Jade at, I think, as recently as All Out, where she healthy.
yeah.
It
And if
seems
she were
like
here, I'd
Jamie
still
sort
be
of
saying that.
exactly. It seems like Jamie Hayter has sort of absorbed some of that uh, excitement that we had for Chris Statlander. I think their work is even a bit similar, and just their general profile of being these really powerful women. Jamie and Chris remind me a lot of each other in that
Yeah.
way.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think did they have a match? Yeah, they had a match not that long ago, but it was before Jamie was like really on the radar. She was there. She was still, man, I'm thinking about it. Like Hayter was in the company really early and then was gone. I think COVID, she was probably stuck wherever she was over in the UK, I imagine. Um, when she returned, nobody knew who she was. Nobody had any idea that, oh, that's Jamie Hayter. Dead silent. Crowd was like, "Who the hell is this?" And think about where she was then and where she is right now. People finally understood, man. And
It's
I'm just so
amazing.
happy for her. And I would love to see that. I like Marina Shafir because she has an interesting look. She has
Sure,
an interesting presence. She's
definitely.
huge. We know she's a killer. Like she could go out and do so much stuff. Like when she makes those glowering faces at people. There was a dark match with her in it where somebody looked like got a little too snug for her liking, and she just beat the shit out of him. And I was like, that's what
That's what you
she
want.
should be doing on
Yeah.
the weekend. Yeah,
Yes.
like have that be the presentation where she just chokes people out. She could be a much bigger Shayna. That's that's it. That's go in there and hurt people. But Shayna's also way more charismatic. I just think you can do that with Marina and have her be zero charisma, just be a monster, and give her a manager. Find her a Paul Heyman for her Brock Lesnar is what she could be. But they're not doing that with her, and I don't think she has the in ring work like Brock. But they're having her try to be a wrestler instead of having her be an MMA fighter. It's wrestling. You can do whatever you want. Like you can make that person whatever you want. We had a literal guy known as the Dead Man, for Christ's sake. Like you can do whatever the hell you want. Demons of a demon clown from hell, as our good friend Alex Pawlowski would say. You could do all of that, man. I don't know. I'm ready for some changes in there because it's all starting to feel very stale because we have all these incredible workers and I don't care about any of them right now because you're not presenting them in a way that I should care about them. Why is Tony Storm coming out on Soraya's beck and call? She's the champ. Tell other people what to do. I don't like that at all because Tony's a badass.
Mhm.
And they've just been doing some weird stuff in there that I think it's good they're getting screen time. It's not great that the 4 women or the 8 women, however you want to look at it, um, that are all like the upper echelon of the women's division, are all getting screen time at the same time. Like, why don't you break that up and have them do some singles matches? Why aren't we doing women's qualifier matches right now? Why isn't there a women's title tournament or a men's title tournament? Like, you could do that all the time. Every week you could have a tournament and just do who's qualified, number one contenders position. There's so many things you could do with the women's division or even the men's division, but the women's division specifically, where like I have no idea who's ranked. What is it if you were in an AEW women's title match? How does that affect your rankings for a TBS title match? I don't know how any of that stuff works, but it's all part
Right.
of the show. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's confusing to me. I would like to see more women. I don't know if that had anything to do with what we were.
Well, no,
Belts,
yeah. I think I led us on this path. No, I think Battle of the Belts, and it's tough. Is it successful? I don't know, because I'm leaning toward no, based on my own experience with it, but also again Willow and Jade main eventing a Battle of the Belts. I I think that's a sneaky huge deal, and then we got
Yeah.
into women's. So I think it was related, Brad, but it's important for us to touch on the AEW women's division. It's been a constant thread of our show because I think we see so much potential in it, and the execution has either really, really hit for us or it just hasn't. So I think it was more related than you think.
So I guess a better question would have been why, if both shows were on TBS, didn't they just make a 2-hour Battle of the Belts? What the hell, man?
Seemed like that would make way more sense, right? Would have made more
Yeah,
sense.
instead we had Rampage and Battle of the Belts shoehorned together, and it's like it didn't need to be like that. That was you overbooked a show without booking anything. Like that's amazingly bad decision making. Where the whole thing could have been Battle of the Belts. You could have had the world title defended, Moxley defending the world title. You could have had Wardlow defending the TNT title, Jade defending her title. She did. The women's title could have been defended. There's so many things you could have had. All belts will be defended. Not
Great.
all belts on the show will be defended.
Yeah, great match. You brought up Wardlow and TNT. Great match against Brian Cage. That was my
excellent match, man.
That was my favorite TNT title match, and I don't know how long. That ruled. Good for Brian Cage. Great to see him doing well.
The last, probably Sammy Cody. Was probably my favorite before that. The cutter off the top of the ladder.
Right.
That was sick. That was incredible.
This past Wednesday was the most special Wardlow has felt to me since probably Double or Nothing in that MJF match. To me, I was just marveling at, oh my gosh, he did the Hurricane Rana. He did a Whisper in the Wind.
Yes.
That should only be possible on AEW Fight Forever.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see him have that moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
And again, even to see, I've never been accused of being like a Brian Cage super fan, but seeing him back, seeing him in this perfect matchup, that match may have even been my match of the week in AEW, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I don't know what competes.
MJF versus Yuta also ruled, but differently, but ruled too.
Yeah, I really like that match. It's not just because I like the match, it's because I like the post-match angle of MJF really grappling with those decisions.
Code of Honor, MJF.
I think there might be a switch coming, man. I don't know. I kind of hope not, but have him be a tweener. Like, he's already super over. He's still getting babyface reactions from the crowd, even though he's like the biggest heel the company has. He could be your biggest babyface. You could build another heel. Who would be a great foil to MJF as a monster heel?
A returning CM Punk?
Yeah, 9 months. Maybe if he ever comes back to the company, depending on the
That's
lawsuit. That's why everybody's still suspended. So stupid. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
like,
and there was so much money in the turn there. MJF, babyface, CM Punk being the like, they're just printing the money in that. It's a shame it's not going to happen.
Well, you have to go out on a press conference and just run your mouth.
Can't believe that,
like,
man.
I'm still mad, and this is going to be a little aside here, but
close it out for us.
The thought that this man got onto the microphone to talk about how people went into business for themselves while going into business for himself. What? I have a problem with people talking about me, so I'm going to talk about people. What? Make it make sense. Anyway, it's
it's
disappointing.
it's even though at this point, what, a month and a half have passed, still just as disappointing and very nonsensical. It's a real shame. I feel bad for many people in that company. That's just ridiculous. And now still getting the Sammy and Andrade beef most recently. It's like I don't even want to directly pin it on TK as quickly anymore. I mean, you could argue the infrastructure from our
Yeah.
vantage point, the infrastructure clearly could use some refining, but also at a certain point, Brad, I think it's on these dudes. Again, easy for us to say, missing a lot of context. We're not there, but
Sure.
it just seems like a mix of machismo and money and pride. And I don't know, man. It's like, are we back in high school? You probably see
Right.
more mature behavior Monday through Friday than what we're seeing from these grown men drawing millions of dollars.
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah. It's not hard to not punch somebody. I do it all the time. I work with teenagers. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. It just seems that Andrade at least probably wants to go to WWE.
Yeah.
And again, without recklessly speculating, I just don't understand why you would come to the show and do that if you weren't wanting to just be let go for such egregious behavior. It's ridiculous, but I don't quite understand these beefs. And I just want good wrestling, and I want all of these people to get their time to shine.
Right.
And it sucks that we have to dedicate time talking about this instead of watching them in the ring. You know,
Yeah.
it's mystifying still. Punk, Andrade, what's true, what's not, who's the heel, who's the face. It's all just very it's just mental gymnastics city.
Yeah. And I'm sad. I'm happy that we're still getting really good in-ring work from people that are still there. I miss Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks are sorely missed. I think all the belts, even though I was really excited for the trios belts, the whole company is so bloated with teams and factions and belts and all of these things. It's hard to keep track of everything, but I'm grateful that we have like just good work every week. And speaking of grateful, Tyler, it's time to show our gratitude.
And now it's time for a little self reflection. So, think about yourselves. Or something.
It
Tyler,
is
what are you
that
grateful for this? Oh, awesome. Let's talk over each other. What are you grateful for this? I'm grateful for you and your voice.
and likewise. Yeah, I'll try to be brief, man. I wrapped up my academia. School is obviously pretty important to both of our identities and daily lives. So man, I'm grateful that I got through my third class in this master's program at the university. So done with it. I sent you the pictures on Friday. I had to reflect on my learning in the class. I had to record a discussion video, but yeah, man, I passed, and I think I did pretty well in the course. So the third one done in a year, I graduate. So just trying to stay consistent and push through. And like I said, I'm just very grateful for you and excited that you are on fall break. You and your amazing colleagues, some of whom I'm still fortunate enough to keep in touch with. I know there's just a lot of excitement and appreciation for having a week to just decompress, recharge your batteries, etc. So I'm grateful that both of us, I think, like have a moment of reflection that, man, we just got through a lot these past 7 to 8 weeks of school, but now we get time to just exhale, recenter ourselves, rejuvenate, and then come out strong out the gate, in a week. For me, it's Wednesday. I have my next class. For you, it'll be Monday. But yeah, man, grateful for time to just decompress, recenter, and crush it. What are you grateful for?
A lot of what you just said. I'm grateful for you, for the pod, for 1 year of GI. I am grateful for my class is also over. It's technically it's not done until the 18th, but I already finished it. I already have an A. Moving on from there, onward and upward. Actually, I was not looking forward at all to the next course, and then I took a look at it and I was like, actually, this sounds like it's gonna rule. So I'm really pumped for it. Had to flip my mindset a little bit and when I accidentally stumbled upon the syllabus, when I was trying to figure out like a course description. I found the syllabus and I read it and I was like, oh, this sounds dope. So I'm really excited for it. I'm grateful that I am on fall break. I am really grateful for that. And grateful for just time to be in a healthier space, to get healthy, to get mentally rejuvenated, and start doing more creative things. I'm saying that right now as I struggle so much to get through the mental gymnastics right now of having no sleep and also being on migraine medication. But I feel good now, and I'm just grateful that I have the health that I have, and I'm looking forward to the week to come.
Yeah, man, I love that for you, and it sounds like you are just regarding health. I really admire how you're so open with discussing that. Not only obviously in your class that you teach, but then just personally with our relationship. I really learned from you. This may sound silly, but when we talk about health, it really is so multifaceted. It's not just the physical, it's not just the mental, it's not just the spiritual, it's everything.
All
You
those
know,
things,
and as adults, even though we give off the, I guess, perception that we have a lot figured out, and because we do, because that comes with age and experience, life can just be really difficult some days. So I always admire your striving for better, and I just appreciate how you're just always willing to share, like, yeah, man, things are tough and I need to recenter and just like commit to my goals and make them happen. So I know now you got your protein powder, you got your food, you got a week. Man, I can't wait to see what you do with all this time and motivation. I know you're gonna rock it.
Okay, so I have to shout out Huel here. I'm looking forward to this week. There's many things that I'm looking forward to this week, and also I appreciate
Talk
the
to
kind
us.
words. Huel is a company. I think it's a UK based company that makes primarily plant-based balanced nutrition. So meal replacement shakes, and also they started a savory line where it's literally you have something to chew. So that was the idea. Rather than doing a meal replacement shake, you'd have something physically that you can eat with a fork or a spoon, because people have been craving that. Because you could just do the shake and do another shake and do a shake and do another shake. This is like I have food to put into my mouth. So I tried the mac and cheese last night.
Love me
Not
some mac and
bad.
cheese.
I'm
Not
not gonna.
bad.
I'm not gonna say it's. I'm not gonna go out of my way here and say it was great.
Better
It
than
was.
Easy Mac? I
Oh,
used to love
absolutely
Easy.
not.
I used
Easy
to
Mac
love
is
Easy Mac.
incredible.
Okay.
This is like Easy Mac did not
Healthier.
have. Yeah, it didn't have 24 grams of protein. So
Sure.
this is like,
Sure.
yeah, it's got like a tomato based sauce. I think it's to cover up some of the flavors in there. So it's cheese, tomato, like onions, a couple of different vegetables, dehydrated vegetables. It's pretty good. And then actual pasta, but I don't know what the pasta is made out of, probably whey protein or something, but a couple of the vegetables in there, a little crunchy. Didn't love that. That's one of the complaints, but that always happens if you boil water and pour it on ramen. You're going to get the same kind of thing if there's vegetables in there. Really, any of those things. But I was really happy with it. So the shake, I was like, I don't know if this is going to fill me up. Totally full, not stuffed or anything, but very full. Good for, I don't know, 4 hours. And then right into the little hot pot. It's a little black cup of food. It's like 2 scoops, boiling water, stir and let sit, and then just eat it. So it's perfect for having this busy life. And then like I have to work out yet, and then protein shake. I read that 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of weight. I am currently the intro is going to hit in this episode, and it's going to lie to you all. We are definitely not weighing that anymore.
Same.
You've gained muscle weight.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've just gained weight.
That's what I camouflage it as. Yeah, you and I. What does Alf, the voice of GI, say in the intro?
340 pounds.
So
yeah, we were
ideally
both about
170 even
165,
split.
170 when we were starting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I was
Neither
might
of
have been
us.
175. I don't know.
Neither of us are that weight today.
Nope.
We can assure you.
Nope. But if I had to make a change, or I was going to be that weight by myself. So we're
I hear you. Yeah.
we're doing good now though. Like I wasn't like, I'm not that out of shape, but I'm out of shape enough where I had to make a change. And with our limited time with school, the pod and all this stuff, pretty good.
Smart.
So far
Yeah.
so good. It's only been
Being
a
a
day.
dad, right? Being a
Yeah,
husband,
it's getting home at 5 and having different schedules and trying to figure out when do we cook, and then just
of
going,
course.
let's just pick something up. And then it's like, I'm not going to the salad shop. I'm going to Taco Bell. And then what
Taco
do I
Bell's way
want?
more exciting.
Way more food than I actually need to eat. So
Yeah.
now I have something to look forward to. I have next Saturday to look forward to. Saturday is our cheat day. We're just going to eat whatever. And then after that, it's can't do any of that stuff. So I think it's a good way to balance it out. It gives us a goal for each week. Um, I'm looking forward to being healthier, man. And this stuff has been really good so far. It's also way cheaper, like way cheaper than what we were spending,
Wow. And
like
I, I,
infinitely cheaper.
I think we often assume the opposite, that
Yeah.
a barrier for pursuing this is it's going to be too expensive. It's going to taste bad and it's going to take more money out of my bank account. But that's not the case.
Yeah. The strawberry shortcake meal replacement was amazing.
Ooh,
I have cinnamon roll right now, also pretty good. Yeah, there's
okay.
lots of good ones. I also
Okay,
have
you're speaking my
Gainful.
language.
I also have Gainful's protein. I'll shoot you $15 off. We also have Gainful's protein for my workout stuff, and it comes with little flavor packets. So you can pick 4 flavors. It's the protein powder specifically for your needs, and then you get to pick up to 4 flavors. So I can change up the flavor of my shake every day. It's not just the optimum nutrition. It's chocolate the whole time I have this 5-pound tub. It's every time I scoop, I can do something different, which is pretty cool. Chocolate peanut butter
Awesome.
didn't quite hit the way that I wanted it to yesterday.
Chocolate peanut butter sounds
Yeah,
incredibly delicious.
it was pretty good, very PB2 tasting, which is kind of what I expected. But it
Mhm.
like I got rich chocolate, Madagascar, vanilla, and then strawberries and cream. I think I'm gonna go strawberries and cream today, and I'll shoot you a text, let you know how it is. But this we were looking at it, man, like the Huel stuff for both of us for a month worth of food for shakes for lunch and meal replacement for dinner, $300 for what we were spending otherwise on groceries and stuff, like double that plus eating out. So yeah, it just made sense for us to do this.
Wow, great. I'm so happy to hear that. I'll say finally, Brad, I'm not only grateful for you and hearing about your journey and being feeling inspired by it, but also quickly, Barry Marana, Arizona centric. 2 of your colleagues and my former colleagues in the English department, both have gotten married. Talking about Paul and then Gabby, and I was kind of hip
Mhm.
to some of the background on them getting married. And man, between you and between them, and just seeing people who I really love and admire, just at these different exciting points of life, it just makes me so happy. So shout out to them. I don't know if they're frequent listeners. I don't know if they're big pro wrestling fans. Pretty certain they're not. But between them and you, and just really grateful for communication and still, continuing these relationships, even if geographically it's a little more complex.
Yeah, I don't know if they even know we have a podcast. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll try
I
to
think
do
they
more.
do. I'll reach out to them. I'll have to let them know if they don't. One of us,
Yeah,
both of us, we'll
check out
figure
the
it out.
timestamp, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. This is fun. Looking forward to next week
Looking forward to next.
and things that we have in store.
Do we want to give a quick tease? Do we just want to leave it mysterious? Something about Jordan Peele is forthcoming?
Yeah, that's all they need to know.
That's all they need to know. You love Jordan Peele. We love Jordan Peele. Something in the works.
Absolutely.
White rabbits will be involved.
Yes, there will be white rabbits.
Let's go. Brad, what a pleasure, man. As always, if you are listening, if you are watching, thank you so much for supporting us. It just means so much to us, and we're so grateful for you. If you haven't already, please follow Brad at Winduster. You can follow me at Tyler J. McDowell. And of course, you can follow us at GIPod19. As you know, we're a part of the mighty 19 Media Group. They're at 19M Group on Twitter. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.